Wow, wow, wow. Kamila Valieva and Alexandra Chusova, or now Ignatova, are just two Russian skaters that have received neutral status from the ISU. I'm also going to list a bunch of other Russian and Belarusian skaters that have received neutral status, juniors and seniors. I am making the video the day of the announcement of them getting neutrality, so I'm flabbergasted. So much has gone on in this off season of figure skating because not only is like Ilia making cryptic announcements on his page and there's Russian skaters being allowed back into competition, but there's also Russian skaters that many people did not expect to even be approved for neutrality. For example, so many people were like seeing Kamila Valieva post like training footage and working with choreographers, and people were wondering, I was wondering like, hey, is she really going to get this neutral status? Does she know something that we don't? Because she seems to be pushing to compete. And I guess that she might have known something that we don't because she has now become a neutral athlete. But okay, let's just take things one by one. Starting with all this neutrality with Russian skaters. As you guys probably know by now, the ISU has unbanned Russian skaters. At least their blanket ban has been taken away. So now skaters from Russia can apply for a neutral status, and then the ISU reviews those like neutrality applications, and then based on the ISU's criteria, they're like, okay, yes, he's neutral, yes, she's neutral, or he's not neutral, she's not neutral. I mean, some of the requirements for neutrality are like you cannot support the war in Ukraine, you cannot be a part of the Russian military ever since that war has started. Skaters like Kamila Valieva, who's been spotted or who's been seen publicly many times with Putin, we just assumed that she probably wouldn't get neutrality because, you know, she's been spending so much time around the person who's like the figurehead of this war in Ukraine. But no, actually she's in, and it's not just her. It seems like every Russian skater who applies is in. And excuse me for not knowing who this skater was in the past, but Mark right here is also a skater that has been approved for neutrality. So if a skater like Mark is able to become a neutral athlete, it's like, well, you know, pretty much anyone can become a neutral athlete unless like you are actively taking up arms at this point. There was a lot of fans who would say that this is a slap in the face of Ukrainian skaters, and you know, I understand where they're coming from. I just think it was a tricky situation for the ISU to be in, just in general, because, you know, if you don't let somebody in, then Russian fans are going to say that you're like Russophobic. I think that's how you say it. And if you do let somebody in, then some people are going to be like, well, he doesn't seem neutral to me at all. And that's why, to me, the wording is so vague in what counts as neutral that the ISU can really do anything they would want, and they would have like a valid argument to make. Like, unless a skater comes out and just publicly says straight up, like, I support the war, then every skater from Russia has enough deniability to say like, hey, I actually don't support the war. No matter how many events you do, no matter what politician you meet, it doesn't really matter unless you like outright say, I support the war. So if there's any like silver lining in all this, at least they're applying their neutrality laws like fairly and the same across every skater. Now I want to talk more about Kamila Valieva and Alexandra Chusova, or Ignatova, or, you know, she put like Chusova on her Instagram, but she has Ignatova on her ISU skating page. So it's like, which one is it? I don't know. I'm just gonna call her Sasha. By far, these are the two biggest skaters in Russia right now. Like, there's nobody in comparison to their popularity from Russia. Alexandra Chusova is going to be such a boost to figure skating. For better or for worse, her presence alone is going to spark so much more popularity in the sport just because of all the drama that comes with it. And this is kind of what I'm scared about. It's that next season's drama is going to be insane.
He was whipping up anger in a kettle, festering hatred like steam out the ears, manifesting rage in a kettle.
Like, assuming the world doesn't end before 2030, the figure skating lore is just going to get deeper and deeper. Because now that skaters like Alexandra Chusova and Kamila Valieva are back, they bring all the baggage with them. For the past 4 years now, fans of Sasha and Kamila have been just screaming, just saying like, oh, the ISU is rigged, they are corrupt. You know, Kamila Valieva would totally destroy everyone in today's competition, calling every champion a fake champion, calling everyone a fraud, like, oh, Alyssa Liu's a fraud, oh, Kari Sakamoto's a fraud. Just imagine if the Russians were here. Like, it's been 4 years of that boiling up, and the resentment against the ISU for banning Russian skaters, that has not gotten less. So now coming into next season, Russian skaters, or what are now neutral skaters, I'm just going to call them Russian skaters though, they are not going to just be competing for themselves. They're going to be representing their country in a new way. Like, even though they have no flag and no anthem, it just seems to me they are still carrying the weight of their country on them. Because Sasha and Camila have been getting hyped up to the point where they're almost like this higher being in the figure skating world. So if they go out and they disappoint, it's not going to be good. And if they go out there and they dominate, it's not going to be good either. Because if the Russian skaters don't do well, then the ISU is going to be called rigged. And if the Russian skaters do well, then the fan base is going to rub it in everybody's face saying like, this is what you banned for 4 years because you're scared of us. And then I feel so bad for all the other skaters that are not Russian too, because they're going to go into these next competitions and it's no longer going to be like, hey, I want to win, go out there and compete against all my other fellow skaters and have a good competition. But there's going to be all this extra weight from the audience, from people on social media being like, no, you have to go out there and beat the Russians. Because it's no longer going to be like, hey, how high did you place in the competition? Instead, it's going to be, hey, how much higher did you place than the Russian skaters? Because fans that hold such strong supportive views of Camila and Sasha, they are going to jump on any opportunity to say like, wow, look at how good these Russians are compared to your skaters if they place higher than anybody else. I honestly predict that this is what's going to happen, but I don't want it to. I would much rather have an environment where people compete against each other, not in a way that you're like trying to specifically beat a certain skater from a certain nationality. I'd rather just see people compete against each other as people. Yes, like someone might be from Russia, someone might be from the USA or from Japan, but at the end of the day, they're their own person. Of course, I know that every time you skate internationally, you are representing your country in a way, yes, but it seems to mean so much more now, and unfairly so. Now, just because a skater is born in Japan or the USA or Russia, it's like, hey, instead of them going out and competing against each other and they just so happen to be from a certain country, now it's like, if you go out and compete, you are going to be used as a figurehead for your nation. Like, each skater has their own personal views about everything. And no matter what they do, no matter how they place, they're going to be used as pawns in an argument online. And that might be really damaging to the mental health of these athletes. So I guess a message I have for people watching this, as we go into the next season, please remember that these athletes are humans, and many of them are very young. We can criticize and admire their work. We can criticize and admire the things that they say. What we can't do, though, is use them in arguments as if they were just some convenient object that we can use to, make ourselves or our countries look better. But how do I predict like Sasha and Camila are going to do in this upcoming season? I think that Sasha is going to do really well. I'm not sure about Camila, really. Personally, I haven't seen a lot of footage from Camila that like really just like makes my eyes bulge, like, oh my goodness, what is going on? But I have seen that from Sasha. Like, we've all seen Sasha do quad lutzes. And how many other senior women outside of Russia are doing quad lutzes like that? Last time I checked, I don't remember any, really. So whatever competition that Sasha goes to, I say that it's a very high chance that she gets first. And the same thing goes for Elena. She's also an approved neutral athlete from Russia, but she is a junior skater, not a senior skater like Camila and Sasha. But as a junior skater, she could be up there with seniors, honestly. Just to put things into perspective, in her last competition in Russia, she landed a triple axel triple toe loop, a quadruple salchow double axel, and a quad sal half loop triple sal. She's consistent with these quads and triple axels. It's like, oh man, it makes me look at my own skating. It's like, I might be broken or something. There might be some bugs in me. Am I supposed to be able to do this at my grown age? Enough of me moping though. Okay, the point is, yeah, she's probably going to dominate. I think she's going to dominate the juniors. What would keep her from dominating junior skating? Injury. Yeah, that's the thing. There is a pretty disturbing pattern with little girls and quads and injuries. I really don't wish injuries on any skater at all. There are a couple other Russian junior and senior skating girls who are right now injured. One of those Russian skating girls that are injured right now actually is Adelia Petrosian. And if you guys haven't heard, a couple weeks ago, Adelia actually left her longtime coach, Eteri Tuberidze. She joins quite a few other Russian figure skating girls that have also left Eteri after going to the Olympics. And it seems also that Adelia is going to take a break. I don't think she's confirmed it at all yet, but like based on her having a hip injury at this point, and also like her leaving Team Tuberidze, and also like rumors from Russian figure skating camps that she doesn't have a program yet and she's not really coming in for practice that often. Given all that information, I think it's safe to assume that she's not competing for at least next season. And she's also enrolled in a university, taking ballet classes there. I wish her all the best, all right? Nobody should feel like they have to compete, especially after everything that Adelia has been through, not only like physically, but mentally, being like that first Russian skater going back into international competition after so many years. And what do I think about her leaving Team Tuberidze? Look, I can't say like if that was a right or wrong decision. I can just see pattern. You know, it probably was the right decision given like Eteri's track record of how she treats her students. And you know, if she was like the most healthy and sustainable coach to be under, then I think there would be a lot of other girls who stuck with Eteri instead of leaving her after going to the Olympics. And the last piece of news I want to go over in this video is Ilia Malinin's cryptic messages on Instagram. Recently, Ilia Malinin posted on his story, "Oh, it's time for something new. Thank you for all the years." And people are thinking that, oh, is he going to retire? Oh, is he going to switch to ice dance? Is he going to announce that he's going bald? He said that he was going to make an announcement on a Monday, and that Monday came and he made an announcement that he's going to go through something called Vision 2030. And he also has red laces now. And the font of the video seems to be using Spider-Man font, like the font from the first 3 Spider-Man movies. Oh, is this just a program announcement and the next program is going to be a Spider-Man program? Like, given all of Ilia's acrobatics, I think that he can pull off a Spider-Man perfectly fine. Or is there more to it? Because he said Vision 2030, right? So is there more to it than just this one upcoming program announcement? Well, I know a little bit more. Now I got some insider information, and all I can say is that don't worry. Like, I've had a lot of Ilia fans message me or leave comments under my post being like, this is actually making me really nervous. I don't know like what to expect. I look up to him and it's like, I don't want to see him leave skating. What I can say is that it's not so big of a deal that you have to freak out about it. Like, he's not going to leave skating, okay? He's got a goal. And he's going to get to that goal in the way that he sees fit. But that doesn't mean that as a fan that you should worry about anything, because it's going to be okay. I promise. I promise you. But that about wraps up this video. I think it's going to be a little bit shorter of a video. I'm trying to get this out as soon as possible because, you know, breaking news. But I'm positive that more news is going to come out, especially as we go into the next season. So if you want to stay up to date on the news, if you want commentary, just funny ice skating, figure skating videos in general, or at least what I consider to be funny, then like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to try my best to keep you guys up to date with the information. And if you want to support the channel even further, consider becoming a channel member. It helps the channel out a lot. But of course, that is completely optional. What is not optional though, is for you to have a very blessed day. Bye-bye.